the media, all they talk about is Caitlyn. Caitlyn could throw somebody a bounce pass. Oh my God, she threw it. It's all about Caitlyn.
Remember all the girls that were just all talking shit about her from the beginning? This was a tune change because that's how they roll. That WNBA is woke as shit. The NBA is woke as shit. And they had to tell her, you better change your thing or we're not going to get behind you 100%. And she did. She bowed down, and that's exactly what happened.
You're too cute by half, and you've managed to piss off your fan base.
Caitlin Clark was recently named Times Athlete of the Year, a prestigious recognition for someone so young. However, her achievement has been overshadowed by the controversy sparked by her comments during an interview. In the interview, Clark remarked, "I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is a privilege, and a lot of those players in the league that have been really good have been black players. This league has kind of been built on them." These words quickly ignited intense debate. Some have praised Clark for addressing racial inequality, an issue that has persisted both in sports and society. Others have criticized her, accusing her of giving in to cultural pressures and compromising her authenticity. As fans and critics continue to clash over her remarks, one key question remains: what does this mean for Caitlin Clark's future, and how will it affect her relationship with her fan base? As we delve deeper into this controversy, we examine reactions from notable figures.
She's 22 years old. I don't know a single commentator out there, Megyn Kelly included, who did not at some point throughout their political career have the wrong perspectives. But for whatever reason, we've decided Caitlyn's not allowed that time to grow. She's not allowed time to change. She's got to be a perfect MAGA candidate and I guess stand up to the entire mob. This girl's literally being bullied, physically bullied, I will say, by the way, on the court. And we know the basis of that is quite racist. I think she just wants to survive. I think genuinely Caitlyn just wants to survive.
Starting with Candace Owens. Surprisingly, Owens has defended Clark while also addressing the larger issue surrounding the debate. It's notable that, despite the heated discussions about her comments, Caitlin Clark's rise to fame has been extraordinary. Her accomplishments at such a young age are impressive, and while her sudden rise to stardom may cause people to forget her youth, it's important to consider the pressure she faces while navigating the intense spotlight. Next, we hear from David Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports and a well-known social media figure. Portnoy, unlike many commentators weighing in on the controversy, is a genuine sports fan.
Caitlin Clark's popularity has absolutely nothing to do with the color of her skin. Anybody who has actually watched women's basketball or watched Caitlin knows she plays totally different than any woman before her.
He shared his unfiltered thoughts in a casual rant posted on his Instagram and Twitter, offering his take on both Clark's statements and the public's reaction to them. Portnoy challenges the narrative that Caitlin Clark's success is solely due to white privilege. He emphasizes the undeniable fact that her exceptional basketball skills are what set her apart and have made her the most prominent figure in women's basketball today, arguably in the history of the sport. Portnoy also takes issue with commentators who weigh in on the debate without a genuine understanding of basketball. He points out that people from all sides of the culture war are exploiting Clark's fame, using her as a symbol to push agendas she doesn't support. This misrepresentation has caused her.
All the people who are like co-opting this, who aren't real basketball fans, who aren't real Caitlin Clark fans, are like, oh, the woke mob got to her. She's now saying her success is because of the skin and she has privilege. First of all, she didn't say she had that. She said she earned everything she got. But what do you want Caitlin Clark to do?
Her words and personality to be twisted by those eager to mold the narrative to fit their own beliefs. Portnoy expands on his perspective, suggesting that Caitlin Clark's comments may not reflect a genuine political stance but instead a calculated strategy for navigating her WNBA career. He argues that Clark's primary goal is to avoid getting caught up in polarizing debates, preferring instead to focus on her game and steer clear of controversy. While the controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark has brought her attention and virality,
she plays in a league that is predominantly African American, and she wants to maybe show up at work and not have people hate her. She wants the league to be successful. The more successful, more stars, the better it is for her and everybody in the league. This backlash of Caitlin turned on the league and Caitlin is woke and Caitlin is this. You fuckers are crazy. And that's what I hate. This, for Caitlin, has never been about politics, never been about race.
It's clear that she would rather not engage in it. Humble by nature, Clark has never positioned herself as a political figure. Her focus has always been on basketball, her passion, her strength, and the reason she earned the title of Times Athlete of the Year. Although the debates and discussions have contributed to her fame, it's time to recognize her for what she does best, playing basketball at an extraordinary level. This sentiment is echoed by legendary sportscaster Dan Patrick, who encourages everyone to simply appreciate greatness when it's in front of us. Having witnessed decades of sports history, Patrick understands how rare moments of brilliance can be and stresses the uniqueness of Clark's talent. He reminds us to be grateful for her presence in the game rather than tearing her down. There's no need to politicize every action a public figure takes. Sometimes, we should pause and appreciate what makes them exceptional in the first place. Acknowledging Kate.
Can't we just acknowledge Caitlin Clark changed the WNBA? That's it. It's okay. You want to throw in Angel Reese. You want to throw the memory of Cheryl Miller or Cynthia Cooper. Like, it's a win. We got to... Just, this is a unique moment. Caitlin Clark did for the WNBA what Wayne Gretzky did for the NHL when he went to the LA Kings.
Caitlin Clark, for her athletic talent, doesn't diminish the accomplishments of other athletes. Dan Patrick underscores this point, urging us to celebrate greatness for what it truly is, the rare and remarkable achievement of an athlete who has changed the game. It's okay to take a victory lap. You don't have to worry about making everyone happy or fearing back.
It's okay. Take a victory lap. You don't have to go, oh my God, these people are mad, or this person's mad, or this group is mad. Caitlin Clark changed the WNBA. It's okay. It's okay to say that. You're not diminishing what the founding, fathers of the WNBA did. You're not. She's the Time Person of the Year.
Backlash from certain groups, Stephen A. Smith commented, adding, "Is Caitlin Clark changing the WNBA? It's okay to say that." He emphasized that acknowledging Clark's impact doesn't diminish the achievements of the WNBA's founders. Recognizing her success is valid. After all, she's the Time Person of the Year.
She brings big-time play to the equation, big-time attention, and then she steps out. Absolutely no obligation to do so. And she points out the disparity in treatment between her as a white player and black players who preceded her and achieved so much, but lacked the level of recognition she received. Her heart has been in the right place. She deserves major, major kudos for her heart being in the right place.
Smith, known for stirring the pot and provoking controversy about athletes' personal lives, surprised many with his respectful approach to Clark's interview. Instead of fueling unnecessary drama, he began by praising her outstanding performance on the court, setting a tone of admiration before addressing her comments. He continued to commend Caitlin Clark.
She didn't have to do those things, but she's done those things, which is further evidence that her heart has always been in the right place, and people who were looking for an excuse to denigrate her in any way, their issue wasn't with her, it was with a bigger issue, and they may have been justified in terms of their thinking along those lines, but to aim their ire in her direction directly was foolhardy and not advisable, and it was a huge mistake on the part of people like Cheryl Swoops and others.
Clark's genuine character and sharp intellect, noting her admirable qualities both on and off the court. Smith also pointed out that a WNBA legend, who had been notably critical of Clark, had unfairly linked her comments to political issues without considering the full context or engaging thoughtfully with her words. Clark has faced harsh criticism from detractors over time, but this situation has sparked a surprising shift in perspective from some of her fiercest critics. One such critic is Ella Duncan, who had...
I think, it's so well deserved by Caitlin Clark. The thing that Time Magazine does really well too is, their people of the year aren't necessarily who's the most popular, although in this case, this is true. It's also people who have been a part of conversations, the cultural relevancy that comes along with it. It's why sometimes the Time Person of the Year is not a particularly likable person necessarily. And so no matter how you feel about the contributions of Caitlin Clark or the rest of the league, some of the narratives and the discourse that were surrounding it, that is also playing into why she was Times Athlete of the Year. These conversations, in the W had been bubbling for a very long time. It's nothing new. I mean, these women changed the course of an entire election, and certainly not very many people were happy about that at the time.
Been vocal about Clark just months ago, particularly during the controversy over physical play against her in the WNBA. In an unexpected turn, Duncan has started openly praising Clark, highlighting how her performances have changed opinions. It seems that Duncan, now acknowledging the influence.
I'm tired of it being people who are not in this circle or space at all, who suddenly have all these opinions about how these women need to treat Caitlin Clark. What do you want from them? They want to beat her because she's not on their team. Isn't that how it's supposed to be? Yeah. Y'all stop it. We already know she's transformational. They've all said it. How many times do they gotta say it?
Of the narratives around Clark, recognizes her significant impact, perhaps because she had previously played a role in shaping those narratives. Duncan's earlier remarks, which were harsh and mean-spirited, added fuel to the controversy at the time. Jim Jackson, a seasoned basketball analyst with years of experience as both a commentator and former NBA player, has weighed in on the recent comments made by Sheila Johnson, the owner of the Washington Mystics. Jackson's extensive knowledge of professional basketball from multiple perspectives led him to...
I don't agree with the Mystics owner saying that the whole WNBA should have been named up, because that's not true. The whole WNBA benefited this year from the viewership increase because of the excitement between Angel Reese and also Caitlin Clark. But from a pure marketing perspective, Caitlin Clark was it.
Firmly disagree with Johnson's take. Instead, Jackson passionately defended Caitlin Clark, emphasizing that Clark is more than deserving of recognition and a significant role in the WNBA. Sheila Johnson's remarks have proven to be some of the most controversial.
I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have. And I think right now, it is time for that to happen. So last night, we read Time magazine where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said, the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have? Because when you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings. And so now you're starting to hear stories of racism within the WNBA, and I don't want to hear that. We have got to operate and become stronger as a league and respect everybody that's playing and their talents.
In recent discussions, sparking a wide range of reactions. The overwhelming majority of responses have been negative, with many people baffled and questioning the true intent behind her statement. Critics have widely condemned Johnson's comments, pointing out a glaring lack of awareness and understanding of the subject. Her suggestion to feature the entire WNBA on the cover of a publication under the title League of the Year was dismissed by many as absurd and farcical, lacking substance or practicality. Adding to the controversy, Johnson's contradictory stance of wanting to avoid discussions on race while starting her comments by focusing on racism has drawn sharp criticism. This inconsistency further fueled the debate, and her attempt to avoid hard feelings ironically ignited more.
She's always saddled with these issues that she doesn't have herself. This is not, they pitted Angel Reese against her, and it was always coming down to race and all these things. Caitlin Clark said in that interview, I earned everything I got. Her stats speak for themselves. She broke records that were 50 years old. But recognizing that this was built on the shoulders of people, a game she admired, players and teammates that she loved. And the most important thing she said, actually, is that brands and companies have to invest in those players too, and she needs to keep making them aware of that.
Controversy. What stands out as particularly unfortunate is how often Caitlin Clark finds herself dragged into discussions of race, especially when it's clear that she has no intention of pushing any racial agenda. Sarah Haynes, in her response to the interview, highlighted this inconsistency, emphasizing that Clark's focus has always been on her performance rather than on political matters. Caitlin Clark has already done so much to elevate the sport. Not only has she brought attention,
the players of the WNBA can't fucking stand her. Why? Because she's white. It's abject, absolute racism. It's total racism. And one of the things that's been admirable about Caitlyn is she just continues to play her game and put points on the board. And she does very well, and she wins games, and she puts butts in the seats, and she sells tickets, and she gets people tuning in on television. And all really we want to hear from anybody about this is thank you. Thank you to Caitlyn Clark for making our league relevant and so on. But instead, she's been bullied repeatedly by the players in this league.
To important issues surrounding women's basketball, but her exceptional level of play has captivated a passionate fan base. Megyn Kelly praised how Clark remains focused on what she does best despite the numerous distractions that often surround her. Clark's unwavering...
She feels the need to acknowledge her white privilege. Basically, she's sorry she's white. She feels really bad about it, though, so you should give her a pass. And then she makes a point of saying the ones we really need to be celebrating are the black women on whose backs this league was built. Which I have to tell you is so condescending.
It really
It's
is.
true that most of these black women have been bullying her and want her to understand it's their league. Hello, you don't own the league. Blacks don't own.
Dedication and professionalism have set her apart as a leading figure in the sport. However, Megyn Kelly has emerged as one of the strongest critics of Caitlyn Clark's interview. Kelly argues that Clark...
They want her on the knee. You'll bend the knee and you'll apologize for being white, and you will suck up to the black women who built this league before you, or you will be beaten, you will be assaulted, and you will be bullied with no friends. So she does it. She finally did it. She bent the knee, self-flagellated over white privilege.
Remarks gave an unnecessary sense of embarrassment and guilt for being white. She even suggested that Clark's comments were insulting to black players, an argument that further ignited the ongoing debate. Kelly criticized Clark for, in her view, succumbing to the pressure.
I'm sorry, but if she really just wants the spotlight to be on the deserving black players who surround her and on whose backs this league was built, then you shouldn't have taken the honor. Then you should have said, make the WNBA the team of the year, the league of the year. What I don't need right now is an additional singled out honor. That's what she should have done. You can't have it both ways.
Pressures of the so-called woke mob, suggesting that Clark conformed to their expectations in the media. Kelly elaborated on this perspective in her comments, accusing Clark of hypocrisy and questioning the sincerity of her statements. Gilbert Arenas, on the other hand, commended Caitlyn Clark for the...
It's good for the W because it just keeps putting a light on the sport for everybody else to eat. And, sometimes, just as athletes, we are competitive by nature, and, we don't like when someone's getting something that we don't think they deserved, right? When we've been in a game. But we have to understand, the more loaves that someone gets, the more crumbs everybody else gets, if you think of it like that. If there's only one loaf, right?
Can I get a slice?
And we get a slice.
Yeah, some slices.
Right? We get a slice, we get one slice. Right?
A whole slice.
If this person now has 4 loaves, we get 4 slices, right? And I think the more walls get knocked down, there's more opportunity for everyone to just eat.
Positive impact she has had on the WNBA, acknowledging the controversy her rise to prominence might spark among WNBA players who also seek the spotlight as competitors. However, Arenas urged these players to view Clark's success as a net positive for both the league and the sport.
I don't think I'm surprised. I'm curious to know who the other candidates were, but the fact that that's the very first WNBA player to ever win Time Magazine Athlete of the Year is pretty special. And my question is, like the criteria, is it based off of her performance on the court, which, yeah, she had a great year, or is it more about the impact that she had on the game this season?
As a whole, suggesting that her presence and success only help elevate the profile of the WNBA. In the same episode, Cheryl Swoops, another prominent figure in the basketball world, shared her perspective on Clark. Unsurprisingly, Swoops appeared hesitant to offer Clark the full recognition many feel she deserves, which aligns with her history of being a consistent critic of Clark's rise. Swoop's reluctance further highlights the division that Clark's prominence has sparked within the WNBA community. Caitlin Clark has undeniably earned the title of Athlete of the Year, as